Welcome, 8th graders, to your ultimate year-end review explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today, because we're setting the stage for a completely game-changer of a way to view history. Look, if you've ever sat in class and just felt totally overwhelmed by the sheer mountain of dates, battles, and names you're supposed to memorize, take a deep breath. You are in the exact right place. Today, we're going to completely flip the script on how you study for your exams.
You know, there's a lot of wisdom in Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9, which says, "There is nothing new under the sun." Honestly, that is the absolute perfect hook for what we're diving into today. I really want you to know with total conviction that history isn't just this boring list of random dead people and disconnected events. Actually, scratch that, it's more like a fascinating living series of repeating patterns. And the secret is, once you spot the pattern, you see the whole picture.
So here's a quick roadmap for this explainer. 1. History's hidden patterns. 2. Why themes matter. 3. 3 major historical themes. 4. Test your knowledge. And finally, 5. The power of morality. Let's unlock these cheat codes for the SAR test.
Okay, Section 1. History's hidden patterns, beyond dates and dead people. Let's get right into it.
To truly master this subject, you've got to treat history like a giant, intricate puzzle, and you're the lead detective trying to snap the pieces together. We aren't just memorizing facts today, we are hunting for the bigger picture. So, what are we actually hunting for? Well, a historical theme is a big idea. Think of things like freedom, conflict, economic growth, or cultural change. Ideas that pop up again and again across completely different eras. Spotting these recurring big ideas isn't just some clever trick for passing tests. It's a super mature, advanced way of viewing the world. When you can see the theme, you finally understand the why behind the what.
Moving right along to Section 2, Why Themes Matter, or as I like to call it, the ultimate STAR cheat code.
Connecting thematic learning directly to the STAR test is going to save you a ton of time, and it builds your long-term ability to predict how modern challenges might be handled today. There's a pretty stark contrast between two different ways of studying. Merely recalling facts, memorizing isolated dates and names, usually leads to really low retention. It's stressful, it's exhausting, and frankly, it just doesn't work very well. But connecting themes, when you understand cause and effect, you achieve high STAR readiness. It's all about working smarter, not harder. You're literally rewiring your brain to see how everything connects.
So, here is exactly what you're going to learn to do by the end of this explainer. You're going to identify recurring themes in U.S. history. You'll be able to effortlessly connect events from entirely different units, and you'll be able to explain historical continuity and change. By mastering these specific TEKS requirements, you are going to absolutely breeze through those tricky connection-based test questions. No sweat.
All right, Section 3. 3 major historical themes, finding the fingerprints of history.
Now we're going to look at some specific, hard evidence of fingerprints that constantly repeat throughout the American story. We can trace specific themes to connect entirely different eras. For instance, expanding opportunity bridges the Louisiana Purchase right to industrial growth. Conflict over rights connects the American Revolution to the Civil War. And innovation and growth ties early inventions directly to national unity. These themes act like massive historical bridges spanning across completely different centuries.
Let's zoom in on that first theme to see it in action. Think back to the early 1600s, where we have early explorations. Fast forward to 1803, and boom, we hit the Louisiana Purchase. Then the mid-1800s brings this massive wave of westward expansion, and by the late 1800s, we see explosive industrial growth. You can literally see how this single, unbroken theme of expanding opportunity moves continuously through time, constantly pushing the nation forward.
Now, I want to slow down for just a second to emphasize the sheer gravity of our second theme, conflict over rights. From taxation without representation to the bitter, tragic fight against slavery, disputes over rights repeat across generations. I really want you to think about the weight of that. The clothing changes, the technology changes, the specific context changes, but the core human struggle for freedom and fundamental rights, that remains absolutely identical.
But hey, history isn't just about conflict. Look at how incredibly rapid and exciting this third theme moves: innovation. Step 1, we invent game-changing tools like the cotton gin, the telegraph, and railroads. Step 2, this triggers rapid development and broad economic growth. And Step 3, it unites us. A single invention cascades into total national transformation, connecting people who were previously completely isolated. I mean, how cool is that momentum? So, to wrap up our look at these historical fingerprints,
Here are your key insights. First, themes link isolated events across periods. Second, recognizing these patterns deeply enhances your cause and effect understanding. And third, and guys, this is absolutely crucial, STAR questions specifically test your ability to connect these themes. That is exactly why this approach matters so much for your end-of-year exams. You're not just memorizing anymore, you're truly understanding.
Which brings us to Section 4, Test Your Knowledge, Interactive STAR Review. Let's do this. I'm going to challenge you to actively think about the answers to these questions right now. Let's see what you've got. Here's question number 1. Name one theme that appears in more than one historical era. Do you have one in mind? Great job. Whether you thought of freedom, conflict, expanding opportunity, or economic growth, you are right on the money.
Okay, let's move to question 2. How does the theme of expansion appear in U.S. history? Think back to that timeline we explored just a minute ago. From the very early explorers mapping the coast all the way to the Louisiana Purchase, doubling the size of the country. It just keeps growing.
You ready for the third one? Give one example of conflict over rights from any era. Excellent. You could have chosen the American Revolution's fight against unfair taxation, or maybe the Civil War's battle over the abolition of slavery. Both perfectly illustrate that enduring human struggle.
Next up, what invention connected to the theme of economic growth? I'll give you a hint. Think about dots and dashes, or maybe an incredible machine for separating seeds. Yep, the telegraph and the cotton gin are absolutely perfect examples for this.
And our final review question. Why are themes important in studying history? If you said it's because they help you see the big picture, understand cause and effect, and even predict the future, you completely nailed it. You now officially hold the key to understanding historical continuity. You should definitely be proud of yourselves.
All right, moving into our final part, Section 5, The Power of Morality, the HeroesMart Academy Philosophy.
Beyond just academic readiness, the source material introduces a philosophical focus on the spiritual purpose of education. It presents this really profound statement: education without morality will hurt. The argument they make here is to consider the point of being highly educated if that knowledge is just used to make choices that harm yourself or others. For this reason, the HeroesMart Academy philosophy emphasizes intertwining biblical morality with education, asserting that knowledge essentially needs a compass.
This whole philosophy is anchored with the scripture we're referencing now. Romans chapter 8, verses 6 and 7 promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps his or her mind spiritual. The source material maintains that true lasting peace comes from combining this biblical morality with newfound knowledge, which is a core promise of their educational framework.
Which brings us to a final, provocative thought based on this curriculum. Now that you can clearly see history's repeating patterns, how will you use an educated spiritual mind to break bad cycles and create a much better future? I want you to carry that question with you. Thank you so much for joining this explainer today to break down these concepts. Keep learning, keep growing, and use your amazing minds to do real good in the world. Catch you next time.